Conor McGregor has lost 3 professional MMA fights in his career, 1 to Nate Diaz, a second to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and third to Eddie Alvarez. The first bout against Nate Diaz was held in the UFC 196 in March 2016, and ended in a submission victory for Diaz. McGregor initially won the bout against Khabib Nurmagomedov in the UFC 229 in October 2018, but the result was overturned when he refused to tap out. McGregor's final loss was a unanimous decision against Eddie Alvarez in UFC 205 in November 2016. His 3 defeats have all been by submission, with Diaz sinking in McGregor with a rear naked choke and Khabib a Kimura. While McGregor is best known for his wins, his losses have provided a unique spotlight on his longevity, dedication, and risk-taking. In the early stages of the bout against Diaz, McGregor did well in a stand-up, but Nate's superior jiu-jitsu skills proved to be the difference. In his second fight, McGregor was able to land consistent shots on a riled-up Khabib who was unhinged by Conor's taunts and insults. However, McGregor was eventually mounted and caught in a Kimura, which forced him to tap out, awarding the victory post-fight to Khabib. The loss to Eddie Alvarez was a much closer affair, yet the judges still gave the victory of 15 out of 15 rounds to Alvarez. Although McGregor is mainly famous for his knockout victories, his losses prove he is willing to take risks and take on any opponent with the same tenacity. While his losses, in hindsight, have provided some of the most intriguing battles in MMA history, at the time they exemplified McGregor's lack of experience. It is clear that McGregor is more comfortable with stand-up fights as it allows him the most space to utilize his unique skill set, but his limitations become apparent in the latter rounds. When McGregor took on Diaz for the first time, he was naive to the advances of BJJ and the clinch game, yet fortunately, this experience taught him to take jiu-jitsu seriously. McGregor has also developed his wrestling considerably over the years, which was proven in his bout against Khabib. Several of his fights included heavy takedowns and some even landed McGregor in dangerous positions, but he always responded with bravado and resilience. Although Diaz was able to finish McGregor via submission, it's important to note that he was able to survive a 5-round fight with superior jiu-jitsu experience. McGregor's fight against Eddie Alvarez was an even matchup and few expected him to survive the full 15 rounds. Despite McGregor coming up short, it was inspiring to see a MMA fighter of his caliber take a fight he knew he could potentially lose and fight his heart out. Diaz and Nurmagomedov were viewed as 2 of the top contenders in the sport, and McGregor accepted the challenge and fought them both in under 2 years. McGregor has a tendency to showboat and taunt his opponents in order to gain an advantage, but it ultimately failed him in his fights against Diaz and Khabib. Many times, in McGregor's defeats, he has been able to escape dangerous positions and use his superior stance to land shots. McGregor's weaknesses do stand out when faced with seasoned grapplers, as his threatening stand-up and ground game are neutralized to some extent. However, McGregor has continually proven his resilience in the face of losses and go on to become an even better fighter. His fight against Alvarez showed signs of a more calculated and efficient fighter and attributed to his later dominance in the lightweight division.